Alright, so people have been asking for another tour around my survival world, and, well, I'm going to do that, show how I adapted to the changes with magnetostatics and the rest of rotorcraft, what I did with the new features and rotary and reactor craft, that sort of thing, and just some general progress that was made as well. I've expanded it quite a bit. I haven't really changed any of the other mods. I might have updated one or two, although I don't think so. So we'll just get to that. First thing is, well, I made new use of the high ratio gears quite extensively. Now with the magnetostatics having their torques locked, well, I needed to gear up the speed a lot to achieve the same results I used to be able to do. So in this case it was the extractors, which require very high speed. It's the high ratio gear and then the standard, alternating CVT setup. So I believe the ratios are different now. 16 times torque and 32 times speed, so yeah. And that just, toggles back and forth like it used to. Currently runs, now we're on the high speed mode. And then back to the high torque mode, and back and forth, just processing all the ore coming in. Expanded the control panel a little. We've also put notes here for how much power each unit uses. I can run them all in parallel, although I'm not doing that right now because just I don't want the products, and some of them was how much they produce. Ripped out all the uranium processors here, ripped out all the friction heaters. You'll see what I did later. I've got a grinder here. It's currently inert. It's not even hooked up. But this is what I was using to grind, coal into coal dust, that sort of thing. Still got the T-Con smeltery, still making clear glass. This thing is slow as hell, so we're only at 26,000. We ripped out most of the cyclic assemblers, I ripped out most of the cyclic assemblers because, well, they were causing some lag issues, and most of them weren't necessary anymore. So I've just got 8 of them now. These are to process the essence coming in from the farms, and you'll see the changes I made to the farms too. I stick some crystal clusters around for decoration, basically. Let's see what else. We've expanded the canola grinder. There are now 3 parallel grinders just to keep up with our canola production. There's still 1 bone meal grinder that's been moved. Not much change to the IC2 side of things, although I did hook up a little bit of automation to the macerator. Added some more upgrades to some of these things. This thing is normally used for making nether quartz dust, which is, well, heavily used in AE. Another high ratio gear for the fractionation unit. That really shouldn't be on right now, but oh well. It's because a piece of red alloy wire keeps disappearing from the bone meal grinder too. Ripped out the centrifuges. You'll see what I did with that. I put access terminals everywhere for convenience of use. And that's pretty much all. Oh, and we'll just expanded the ME system a lot. Don't worry about what this is just yet. I'll get to that later. Behind the scenes, there's been a lot more changes. Back through here, the most obvious thing is, of course, the redesign. Like, just made it look nicer, look more finished rather than just the natural stuff. I also added more interdimensional fluid transport. This is going in and out of various dimensions. I don't remember if this pulse jet was here before, but, well, it is here now. It's not used very heavily, but it's used occasionally for making things like the new inductive metal. I did expand the spawner farm, but it's also, as you can see, running off electrocraft. We'll go behind there in a minute. Don't worry about the moss stone ceiling. I'll get to that later. So I put some more new spawners down, a couple more swarm spider spawners. I also put down an uncontrolled blaze spawner because if you control it, it actually outperforms all the other spawners for some reason. So they tend to just clog up the whole system. Plus, with the blazes giving off all the particle effects they do, it lags really, really badly. Also, since I couldn't get a creeper spawner, so I couldn't put gunpowder in here, well, at least I thought I couldn't put gunpowder in here, I got lucky. I was going around the Twilight Forest. I found a fire beetle spawner on a hollow hill. Those drop gunpowder, so I put 2 of those in the farm, and now this thing produces gunpowder quite nicely as well. It's also automated now. There's no lever here. It's on the main control panel. So also we fixed that problem with the fans and not turning on at the right time. I'll show you what I mean. Let's go around. Mob farm. If you look at the mini-map, you'll see a whole bunch of mobs appear. And there we go. And sure enough, the lighting sometimes takes a while to update. And lots and lots and lots of mobs. The way the fans are set up now is like the left ones will blow, and then the right ones will blow, and then the left ones will blow, so it keeps pushing the mobs back and forth over the harvesters. It's much more efficient at clearing them out. It also means when I turn the thing off, which I'm going to do now, so my frame rate doesn't go to hell. Well, it gets rid of the mobs a lot faster. Not that that matters that much, but I kind of like having a totally mob-free biome when I don't have a farm around. Still, all the problems with all the experiences produces cause it. That's actually the main source of lag from here. For some reason, experience are more laggy than most other mobs. You can see we got a ton of experience here, 400,000, or 300,000 rather. Anyways, on the lower floor, I don't believe too much has changed. It's more redesign. Yeah, we installed Artifice. That's one thing I did. I installed Artifice because I like some of the connected texture stuff. I didn't use connected textures here because for some reason I'm getting a lot of random crashes with the connected texture helper. And, well, I didn't want that to happen in the overworld. I did in some other dimensions, though. Yeah, there's not much changes over here. Same jet engine setup. And I couldn't change the blocks here because, well, there's redstone on them. Anyways, here's where the centrifuges are now. There's 12 of them in parallel, more than the original 3. And they're also geared up to a far, far higher speed. They're running at speed mode, 256 times gearbox. Then in 32 times speed mode, so we're actually getting 67 million rads a second in all of these. So it produces a ton of uranium dust, which is quite convenient. And then we've also just expanded the uranium processor array just to keep up with that, although it can't, not even close. We've also run out of fluoride at this point, so it's not working anyway. And here's where the friction heaters got moved. The reason they're down here now is because there's twice as many of them. They're not really smelting very much at the moment. I finished processing most of the flakes. But there were, several 100,000 flakes that had to go through here. With just 8, it was backing up, and I'll show you why it was backing up later. We've expanded the auto-crafting system. We've added more stuff. And I've turned on the option in AutoCraft that allows me to auto-craft or craft or recover stuff in the normal crafting table, just so I can auto-craft it. That was really quite helpful. Anyways, back here, we clean this up too. Turn this. Okay. We've got the farms also running off Electrocraft rather than magnetostatics. I used Electrocraft quite frequently now. I forgot to show you back behind the mob farm. I'll do that in a minute. But anyways, the reason I'm using Electrocraft is it makes it convenient. I can take several magnetostatics, combine their power, and instead of putting a gearbox in every single one, like I would have to do if I put a magnetostatic gearbox fertilizer, for example, I can just put them all through a gearbox and then put that into the Electrocraft network. It's a lot cheaper on the resources, and given the lubricant use these things have, a lot cheaper on that too. This is just water supply to the ME system. Got similar Electrocraft setup for the sugarcane farms. It's actually running off a different wire network though. Total the farms are drawing about 1.2 gigawatts of power. These aren't all of them though, you'll see some of the rest. Over here we've just got a whole lot of ender chests. The reason I've got this many is because, well, as you can see, there's a whole lot of stuff getting dumped in, and, well, it provides me a whole lot of surface area to suck the items out. Anyways, we'll go up. And up here there haven't been too many changes. I reorganized my Mistcraft books, got rid of most of the useless books that led to ages I don't care about. Put some Guardian Stones down because they now have a slight benefit in survival, or single player survival, where they don't allow Endermen to teleport near them. Over here we've got what will be my bee breeding area. I plan to get into a little bit of bee breeding, and, well, this is the area I've set to do it in, and this is where all the moss stone came from that you saw on the roof of the mob farm. That's right underneath here. Over here we just put, path and a magma torch to keep mobs from coming in this general area. Some rainbow trees because they're pretty. Up on the roof, nothing changed. Quite literally nothing changed, in fact. And the farms, well, farms didn't change heavily. We switched out what tree we're cutting over here just because I had enough dye tree stuff for a while. I just changed which things I'm farming because some of them are no longer necessary with the mob farm or just other things. Like I didn't need to start farming silver and gunpowder and stuff like that, so I didn't do that anymore. So I'm just more extensively farming the ones I needed. So we've got glowstone, emeralds, slimes, magma cream, nether, which is basically I'm being used to make nether quartz, I believe. I could also turn it to make steel sand if I wanted. Ender, blaze powder, and over there is obsidian. Yeah, I would put noise buffers everywhere. They don't work terribly well, but they help a little. A little bit of landscaping changes over here, just some lights, and made this all light, this little pit. I also did some changes to the shoreline, something Cliffs of Dover style, because I thought it would look nice. So we got big, I don't know why the chunks aren't loading, but big white cord stone cliffs. I don't know why my sprint just failed. Yeah, of course I'm trying to get on the lily pad this one time it works. Anyway, so we've got, and I pointed birch trees up there simply because I thought they looked the best. I may change that out. They extend all the way around here. There's a lot of mobs over there. Just got big, basically just a big forested cliff, if you like. I think it looks quite nice, and that's interesting with the way the house looks for the chunks load. Those are all the Project Red lamps you're seeing, and the white lines that are flashing, that's the ME system. It's interesting. Anyways, we'll just lower ourselves down now. The chunks load well enough. Nothing really changed over here. Again, some more lighting, this time with geostrata crystals. This doesn't go anywhere, just like it before. A lot of development's been in other dimensions, simply because, well, that's just where I've been doing a lot of the stuff. Oh, the other main change, I added this thing. It seems to be putting out a weird, it's obviously this map, but the Natura clouds are throwing it for a serious problem. You can see them in the GUI here. These big white lines are the Natura clouds. It's not quite what it's cracked up to be. Oh well. Anyways, in the reactor world, we've made some changes. I don't know why this portal isn't open. Oh, it is. Okay. Anyways, we put a pebble bed reactor in because I was sick of dealing with that breeder reactor, which was constantly overheating. So instead, I just ripped it out and put a very large pebble bed reactor here. And it was operational until comparatively recently. It was my main source of power for a while. I've cut off the fuel supply to it, and I've also shut down the steam grate with a redstone signal. So this thing's no longer producing power, but it would make a nice auxiliary power supply. The real thing I'm using over here now is this. It's just a standard fission reactor, but the reason I'm using this at all, it's not for the power, simply because I'm making tritium. Lots and lots and lots of tritium. Well, not that much tritium, but enough. And the neutron reflectors here just help with that. Any neutrons that would otherwise get wasted go flying off, they bounce back in and have another chance of being useful. If not, they just get absorbed. Anyways, so that's the major changes that have been made here. And some landscaping changes, obviously. Back. And the reason I'm making tritium, as you can probably guess, and well, as you could probably also guess from the huge power draw you see on all these signs here. I mean, you add this up, it's 1.2 gigawatts, 800 megawatts, 400 megawatts, etc. It adds up to like 6.5 gigawatts of power. Well, the reason for all that, if you saw the title of that book for closed, you can see it in the distance there. Well, that looks cool for the chunks load, doesn't it? Here we go, fully functional fusion reactor built legitimately in survival. Took something like 40,000 magnetite, not surprisingly. Stuck a lot of it through the extractor. Digital miner from Mechanism helped me make that a little bit faster than it probably otherwise would have been. Yeah, the thing's a little bit overpowered, but I like it. Anyway, so we've just got a standard, well, maybe not standard, but ordinary fusion reactor here, standard toride setup, solenoid setup. What I've done to curb the problem with the neutron absorbers melting is with 2 lines of boilers, so that way they can sink the heat twice as quickly, because otherwise just the boilers, they reach 1,000 degrees and they melt. And the other big thing is the water supply. The reason this thing isn't melting is also because of that. So if you see, you've got 20, well 5 on each side of these transfer nodes, each of which has a full stack of mining and speed upgrades, so we're producing a lot of water. So that really helps. I'm going to get rid of that piece of essence. And these things are just driving the Van de Graaffs, which keep all the pipes magnetized. I'll go down there in a second. And the reason I've got one Van de Graaff on all sides and one in another building is simply because, well, now the charge attenuation is a lot more aggressive on these things, so you can't do it with just one in one place anymore. Anyways, we'll go downstairs now. and this is one of the reasons I like Artifice. Anyways, this is just what's driving the solenoid. And credits to a guy named Nedrak Gaming, this is his YouTube channel name anyway, for doing something similar to this with the setup for the solenoid. I really liked it when I saw it. He also built a legitimate fusion reactor in his Let's Play, and well, I thought, this part looks cool, I'm going to do it too. Anyways, let's go on the other side. Lots of geostrata rock I mined up. Over here we have the preheaters. There's 5 of them, and they're all running off of, I don't remember how much power is actually going into these. I don't know why I don't have my angular transducer on me. Something like 8 megawatts of power into each heat ray is actually enough to keep it going. So we're just producing a lot of plasma. I've got one more vanograph in here, as you can see. And we've got tritium coming in there, 3H for tritium, and there's deuterium coming in from below the floor. I'll show you that. The axis area is a little strange. There's a bit of a preheater, but under here is where the deuterium comes in. It's also where the power goes into each vanograph. And okay, so 4 megawatts each, and this universal cable appears to have derped. Lovely. Oh well, doesn't really matter. Obviously the reactor is still solvent, or still stable, so not going to be a problem. And over here we've got the deuterium production. It's currently shut down because my ME system was filling up with deuterium and oxygen, so I have a huge buildup of it anyway. But this is what I'm using the heavy water for, and where I'm producing the deuterium. I decided to put it in this age rather than in the overworld because A, it's loud, and B, it started to get kind of big. Also made kind of sense. It's related to and required for and only used for the fusion reactor, so I might as well put it as part of the fusion reactor complex. And the last currently complete building in the reactor complex, not counting the tunnel as a building, is the turbine hull. We've got 6 turbines. They're running at 900 megawatts each, and I'm looking on a way of. I'm currently using more powerful than normal rotational dynamos, like basically uncapped versions, which only I have access to, because I'm working on another part to these reactors, which would basically be a big industrial scale generator. So it'll be able to take all the power from all 6 of these like as one, and then just convert that to RF. So it's a giant one-way conversion. It's something someone asked for on one of the questions for the Ask Me Anything, and I actually really liked that idea. Yeah, it's just all going to test tracks. I used to dump it all into a bunch of universal cables, but they similarly derped, forgot what they were hooked up to, and the whole system went down, and that was not fun. And this is all reasonably locked down, just to keep chickens and whatnot from wandering into these turbines. I routinely go around here and just kill all the animals that come near the buildings. Anyways. Oh yeah, I couldn't have gotten this much burnt quartz without the recipe. I added geostrata quartz to extra utilities burnt quartz, because nether quartz is just too expensive for that purpose. Anyway. Good example of what I mean. Back to the overworld. Just gonna get rid of that piece of ham. And the main source of, or the main draw for all that power, well, it was the main draw when I built it, is this world.